Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Hollis Does Brunch. Super excited to have you here. It's Sunday. It's Memorial Day weekend. Usually we're all out and about on our various day trips or linking up with the friends. And I hope that you are not. And if you're socializing, which at this point, if you're not socializing safely, uh, you know, kudos to you. But I think that, it's all about making sure that we stay safe and stay sane. So Memorial Day feels really different. My birthday's actually next weekend, and usually this weekend is kind of like my birthday celebration. But I'm excited to be birthday celebrating with you. Back at it with brunch and also with the founders of Inside Lands 2020. I'm really excited to chat with them. They're such a dynamic crew, and what they've been able to do throwing daily Zoom parties is really amazing. And I hope that you can bring your questions, bring your brunch, and we're going to close it all out with a live performance by Alan Chen on the violin. But before we get started, I actually released my Half-Life Deluxe EP this past Friday, which included 2 live performances of Sedative and Back to Me. So I figured I could just perform Sedative to get our brunch started today. So without much further ado, here is Sedative. So it seems you've come around to me. Must be nice to have the option. 'Cause it seems I'm rather stuck with me until I'm in a coffin. Until I'm in a coffin. Until I'm in a coffin, yeah. Seems I'm rather stuck with me, yeah. It's unsettling, but settling. Take it or swallow it like medicine. 'Cause this life is gonna kill you. After all, will I do anything to forget all my blatant limitations? Even when the truth is screaming out, I'm rolling up the window. Just turn it up and drown it out. Just turn it up and drown it out. Turn it up and drown it out. Yeah. But it's unsettling, but settling. Take it or swallow it like medicine. 'Cause this life is gonna kill you. After all, yeah. And there's no sedative strong enough to numb all that you're running from. No, 'cause life is gonna kill you. After all, after all, hey, hey, and there's no sedative strong enough to numb all that you're running from. No, 'cause life is gonna kill you. After all, after. Thank you very much. All right, without much further ado, I'm bringing in our guests today. They are the founders of Inside Lands 2020, and I've just been really incredibly impressed with their organizing skills and the integrity for which they gather their creative community in the Bay Area and beyond. So please welcome to the stage. We have Tran. Everybody say, hey, Tran.
Hi. Good morning, Hollis, or good
Hey.
afternoon.
We got Jenn.
Hello.
Hi.
Good
And then we
morning.
got Kat. Hey,
Hi.
ladies. How's it going? Kat, you are looking like you are in a destination situation.
So
I'm in San
cute.
Diego.
Okay.
That's a real background, not a fake background that we
Yes.
post up.
Like
that
a
we
Zoom
longingly
background.
want to be.
It's
a real background. This is real sunshine.
It's a real one.
I love it. And if you're joining us, please say what's up in the chat. Let us know where you're at, where you're tuning in from, what you're eating for brunch. Would love to hear from you. Cool. Well, I would love for each of you guys to introduce yourselves and let us know who you are, what you're up to, and what you're eating for brunch. So who wants to start off?
Jay.
Jay. We're always so polite. We're like, you go. No, you go. Hi, guys. I'm Jay. I one of the founders of Inside Lands with these beautiful women, plus Alan and Jordan. I, on daytime, run cannabis for Sunday School, which is a streetwear brand, cannabis design studio, and just trying to change the conversation around cannabis, especially the Asian American community. So that being said, I have a couple things I'm eating for brunch because I'm starving and hungover. I have my flaxseed oatmeal with cherries that my parents picked this weekend. They're so wholesome. I thought that was really cute. And then I also have papaya salad and some Thai fried fish because I felt like, why not? Let's add some spice to it. So yeah, that's what I'm eating today.
That looks amazing. Papaya salad for breakfast. Let's go.
Right? I need it.
So you mentioned like you work in cannabis. So I'm curious, how has stuff been like it with COVID, kind of before and after, and how has this time of COVID impacted your work in the cannabis industry?
I think this is like pretty common for hustlers. And I think the cannabis industry in general has always had things that shook people to their core. And what we've practiced with Sunday School and being in a company for so long now is we prepare ourselves for everything to fall apart. So we were pretty cognizant that things were happening because our company is also based in Korea, that things were already happening in January. So we kind of laid out a plan, slimmed things down. And the coolest thing about being a 4-person team, and I can't speak for all of cannabis, is we're able to iterate really quickly. So maybe it's smaller stores. We're pumping out stuff on our online channels, but also, yeah, like it doesn't feel any different from any new regulation. I will say that we are more we're definitely hurt. Our headquarters is in New York. It's still the epicenter of like this pandemic. So if anything that came out from this, we're trying to be more cognizant of where our money's going to. And right now we have a mask campaign where if you buy any of our masks, we're donating to a food bank in New York to help with the food disparities. And we're hoping with that, that we're shining a light on these great programs, but also hoping that cannabis remembers that this is happening too. Even though we're deemed essential, there's other people that we should be helping. So,
yeah, absolutely. That's super real. And honestly, it's so like I was just remarking the other day, I was like, it's funny how weed went from illegal to essential in not that long.
No, and I think we talked about last time we talked, you have to stay cognizant and have to stay thankful. Like I'm born and raised in Oakland, California. So a whole generation of kids grew up without fathers due to the drug war. So staying cognizant is like one of the biggest things that we're trying to like push forward, because with any essential business, there's still people profiting from it. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Awesome. So Jenn, let's take it over to you. Why don't you tell us a little about yourself, what you do, and what you're eating for brunch today?
Yeah, definitely. First and foremost, thanks for having us. So what do I do? I'm kind of I dabble in a lot of a lot of things. Currently, my full-time position is actually 7th West General Manager, which is this beautiful venue in West Oakland, huge patio space. We were definitely ready for the summer. Unfortunately, this happened, so no one's going to have any big day parties at our space anytime soon. So it's definitely an interesting change of environment. Clearly, we can't do anything in person, so I'm not really active there. And then along with other stuff, I'm also in events as an event manager and organizer. And again, in-person events are at a halt. So what's interesting is the virtual world that we're in, and now there's more and more virtual opportunities because people are basically realizing that we're not going to be out in a while. On top of that, not out in a massive group. So now all these conferences that we were holding off on is moving to the virtual world, and it's becoming this crazy new world. So that's a little bit of what I'm doing right now. And I think we were being maybe overly ambitious, but it's going to happen. We're making a breakfast, like a brunch pizza, like a breakfast pizza with scrambled eggs and like yeah, pancetta, and this other side like pears and arugula. But it's currently in the oven, so I can't quite show you yet. Unfortunately, I ran out of time, so sorry about that.
Oh, it's okay. How much more time do we have before the debut of the breakfast pizza?
I mean, maybe in like 10, 15 minutes.
Amazing. It'll live on air. We love to see
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
So
Check back
yeah, so Kat,
in.
you mentioned, or sorry, Jen, you mentioned that you know, as a live event producer and working at a venue, like this is a particularly crushing time, not only
Hmm.
because all events are canceled, but also the uncertainty of knowing when it's going to be safe to get back online. So could you give us maybe a little insight of how you and your team are navigating this? And is it like a full
Yeah.
digital pivot, or are you guys holding out hope that maybe it's possible to do safe events at some point in the future, even like pre-vaccine? Like, how are you guys handling that?
Yeah, we're really just trying to figure out because news is changing on a daily basis and it's always so rapid.
Mhm.
There's discussions of maybe opening just our patio area for a limited capacity. There's talks about delivery services. So we're still trying to really figure it out because there's always new news and it keeps changing. Um, changing the outcome of what we try to plan, and that's, I think that's the trickiest part, is to be able to follow the current news and to be able to adapt simultaneously. And that's kind of the trickiest thing for us.
Totally. And I think that it's hard too, because I feel the same way as a live performer. It's like, on one hand, I'm so eager to get back into the live space because I think
Hmm.
now more than ever, we've realized how important it is to connect with each other in person and how much
Hmm.
we've been missing that. I think we're all feeling so starved for that energy. But on the flip, it's like the last thing I would want to do is have like somebody's wellness on my head and like feel like I'm endangering folks that I'm, you know, gathering. Um,
Yeah, it's definitely a time, basically a time to get super super creative and try to tap into the virtual world simultaneously. So I mean, it's exciting and also scary at the same time, but I think we're all as a whole acknowledging that this is our new norm now, and it will be for a while. But there's so many opportunities to thrive. It's just now figuring out where do we fit in that pocket.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to
Mhm.
talk more about how Inside Lands fits into that, because I feel like that's just been such an amazing like response that's turning into something sustainable that I can't wait to explore more. But before we do that, let's get Kat up in here. What's up, Kat?
What's up?
Reporting live from the yacht club. Could you just give us a little intro to yourself and what you do and what you're up to and what you're eating?
Yes. So thanks for having us. I'm really excited to be on. So what I work as in during the daytime is I'm a registered nurse for Department of Public Health in San Francisco. I moved to San Francisco 2 years ago for that position, and that's when I met Jay and Jen. Actually, about a year ago, a little over a year ago, we just started partying and hanging out together. Um, so before COVID hit, creative wise, I was also dabbling into a lot of things. Definitely wanted to get like my food blogging back up and like food video blogging up. And then I was also, well, I'm still a part of this nonprofit called Project by Project, which focuses on AAPI and that community. So a lot of things are happening right when COVID hit. And then Inside Lands was born through the chaos of everything and just kind of like figuring out, okay, how can we keep all the creative friends together and how can we kind of get around this new challenge of still being able to produce and still being able to create even though everything's been shut down, you know? Yeah. And what I'm eating today, there's no kitchen in here, but we grabbed some, this is a avocado toast with like eggs and kind of like these sauces on the top. And then, so I'm actually here in San Diego and we love Mexican food in San Diego. Definitely something that's kind of missing up in the Bay Area. So we got these Carne Asada breakfast potatoes. Super excited to eat this. And I actually started munching on it a little bit while
That
everyone
looks
else was
so
talking.
bomb. Carne
It's so
asada.
good.
Wait, did you say
Yeah.
breakfast potatoes?
Yeah, carne asada breakfast potatoes. So it's not like, like the carne asada fries, which is
Right.
also excellent. I'm probably going to slip that in as like meal number 4.
Oh yeah.
But they kept these potatoes, like it looks like it's double fried, like flash fried, so it's crunchy, and then they just like slapped on the guac and the cheese and the onions and the sauce. It's amazing. I mean, I probably would have cooked this at home too.
Oh my God, that sounds, I'm definitely putting that in on the list for things to make this upcoming week. Carne asada breakfast tacos or breakfast potatoes sounds so bomb.
Yes.
And that's
yes.
the thing is like San Diego is very innovative with its Mexican cuisine. I would say
Oh
like
yeah.
the patented California burrito with French fries in it. Like I remember having
Mhm.
that for the first time and just being like, this is a revelation. And coming from the Bay, we're all very snobby about San Francisco
Yes.
mission burritos being the best burritos. But I was like, this is
Uh,
it's its own other thing. It's like an iteration. Like I'm not gonna be like this is better than that, but like,
yeah.
it's for real. So I'm curious, like as a nurse, and
Yes.
somebody who's really like on the ground with this
Mhm.
pandemic, I'm curious if there's any kind of insight that you can share with us in terms of like how things are going with the healthcare system right now and controlling it. Anything we might not see from headlines or like that folks that are outside of the healthcare system wouldn't otherwise know.
Yes. I'm gonna go along with the same kind of vibe and energy that Jay and Jen were saying about change. There's a lot of dynamic change happening. Nursing wise, well, let's start with like hospital systems. Hospital systems right now are like changing the way they are, I guess, triaging the patients right now, especially in the emergency room. I know some hospitals have designated new floors just for COVID patients. And I know like big hospitals like Stanford, UCSF, they've changed a lot of their planning. Like I know that they're like a lot of money's lost because they have canceled all the elective surgeries that are supposed to happen. So there's a lot of like reduction in that kind of like nursing field, and everything's getting pushed into like med surge, ICU, and taking care of COVID patients. But the good news from that is the surge that they expected to come, because San Francisco and the Bay Area is doing a really good job at like sheltering in place, wearing a mask. We are flattening the curve in the Bay Area, so that surge isn't quite happening as it is like in New York or LA County. So that's a good thing. Um, for work, because what I do for work is I basically service people who are in like single room occupancies. A lot of my patients are in the Tenderloin, and I have to say, mental health wise, this is getting really it's anxiety inducing more than that, but like mental health is being affected in the worst way right now. I mean, just 2 weeks ago, my car got bashed in. And I just feel like there's just like a lot of pent up like negative energy that no one really knows what to do with. Um, yeah, so it's a lot. There's a lot of changes, and this will probably change like the history and the way the medical systems are going to take place from now on, because they're saying that this isn't going to be the first round. They're expecting like a second wave in the future, out maybe kind of close to like flu season. So the systems are getting more prepared for that, which is like a good thing. It's scary, but the point is we're being prepared for it.
Yeah, and that's so important too. I think, well, first of all, thank you just for being on the ground, being on the front lines, and for caring for folks. I think that a lot of what this time has taught us is, is that we didn't anticipate how hard we were going to get hit all the way across the board, and realizing how little resources we had and preparation we had, but at the same time, how this is an opportunity to create preparedness and just like kind of an institutional compassion in a way that I don't think has been thought of before.
Yeah.
And I think to your point, mental health is so much a part of this health crisis. And I think a lot of people are realizing that, like, how are we supporting each other as a community? How are we supporting each other as a society is just as important as maintaining 6 feet of distance and wearing a mask. Like,
Yeah.
how are we genuinely coming together and making sure that the health of all people are prioritized? So thank you for your work. All right, I'm going to bring everybody back into the chat. So I am just, first of all, just a fan of y'all. Like, I have joined a few of the Inside Lands parties, both as a guest and a participant. I've logged on before and there's been like drinking games, like Never Have I Ever going down. I've joined in and heard some really like compelling and deep ass conversations amongst folks about how we're all adapting at this time. I've seen some really stirring photography and live musical performances. So I'd love for you to just share the origin story of how Inside Lands came to be, and the three of you came together to endeavor to do it, and yeah, what it was in response to.
Yeah, I mean, I can start it off for a little bit here, but Inside Lands, the first day of shelter in place, I think all of us was kind of set into a panic. I personally came off of a flight from a vacation and like I landed and it was like, hey, this is happening. And we can take it back to like March and everything else. I don't think we ever really knew what was going on. And at that point, a lot of my friends were starting to get laid off. Like it was a slow crawl and then all of that happened. So I think Inside Land started for us as a way to connect with our friends. On the other side, like give a platform for artists. And I think selfishly, each of us needed it. So it started with a text from a friend that was like, hey, will you DJ my Zoom set? These girls hopped along and I reached out to them and they helped me create it. And from then on, it became a daily thing. So yeah, it's been pretty magical.
Yeah, tacking on to Jay, I mean, I think she hit Kat up at 4 a.m.
We were all kind of anxious at this time, and
oh my god,
I'm like an early riser, but that specific day I was up at like 4:30, just being like worried, like how's the next day, how's work gonna look like? And then I got a text or an IG DM from Jen, and she's like, "Can you ask Jug to play for us on Wednesday, Wellness Wednesday?" Which
Yeah,
is our first Wellness Wednesday.
Yeah, I believe what triggered everything was Kat reached out to me saying like, "Hey, can you do a plant demo?" And then Jay simultaneously was talking to me. I'm like, "I'm down," and like my event coordinating side just kind of went on full. I'm like, "Who else do you need? We got all the resources." And somehow that was Tuesday, and the first show was on Tuesday, and we've been through it ever since. So
I didn't realize that all happened like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
And that's the other cool thing too. We're all so different. I think that's what made it so magical in the first day. It was like so many ideas, so many friends.
Yeah, I think I was onboarded literally maybe 6 hours before the show.
That was the other thing too.
I think the flyer was like on Microsoft Paint.
I think Jay made the first flyer, and then Kat, you took over, and then Jordan took over. That first week, I mean, I do have to applaud ourselves for programming, like just from the get. Like we just did all the programming on Tuesday for that week. I feel like we're just like,
yeah.
This.
No, I think it was still a crazy. I mean, obviously it was so long ago, so people had like expanded to Twitch and Zoom and everything else. But at that point, I remember our friends were like, "What do you want me to do on a weird conference app?"
Want me to show you how I wash my hands?
Yeah, we just did such random segments.
Most random. Oh man.
Hannah, I don't know how to pronounce her name, but she was asking in the chat to share how you guys all know each other.
Hi, Hannah. I think we all met, us three, at Big Bad Wolf, actually. Hedgen hosted an all-women's dinner, which was really empowering and beautiful. And Jay at the time was working for Sunday Goods, and she was one of the sponsors as well, with all the nice cannabis swag. By the way, thank you for that. So, and these beautiful ladies were there. Hedgen's a really close friend of mine, and I was able to be a part of that dinner. So yeah, that's kind of how we met.
We clicked immediately. I think that was like the thing. I think we met each other. Yeah, and it was just this incredible journey of like, I don't know, like we just like met each other and we're like, oh, we're a part of each other's lives now. You know that, right? Yeah,
I love that. Much. I think what that demonstrates to me is that it's like you, like in this time, you really see who's about it, you know, and like no offense to the people that like, I think we all adapt to things in certain ways, and like we can't judge anybody for the way they respond to a completely unprecedented global pandemic. Like I think a lot of it is just like having, peace to know that like everybody's on their own journey. But the fact that you all like connected at an event and then immediately clicked up and were like, oh, we're going to do a week of programming like off top, like let's go. And I mean, I think that speaks to the ways in which, a lot of us as creatives, it's like our coping mechanism is by doing. And as you mentioned, like this is as much for the community as it is for y'all to like give a sense of purpose and give a sense of convening in a place. And I just love the fact that like no matter what day of the week it is, like y'all have something going on for folks. Like you have a place where everybody can stay connected. And that there's a place to land when I think oftentimes we're like looking at our hands at the end of the day being like, what am I doing? Who am I?
Yeah.
Um,
I think one thing I'd like to add too, I believe we were all very community oriented, but going into this together for Inside Lands, we truly feel how community oriented we really are. Like even for everything that I've done in the past, it really has to tie with the community, how how everything we do affects the community. Because I truly believe, and I feel like we can say we for Inside Lands, like pay it forward, like there's always someone that's done something nice for me, and we have to do the same for everybody else. And once we kind of generate that positivity, it just keeps going, and we build this beautiful community and like the strong foundation for like this chosen family. So a little bit of that, just like it's so beautiful that because we're all about the community.
I love that. So to that point, I'm curious, like, so y'all have been doing Inside Lands for weeks now, daily programming. And quick plug, please join Sunday service that's happening at 12:30 today on the Zoom. Go to instagram.com/InsideLens2020 to look at the lineup. I'm going to be performing. We're all going to be there. But I'm curious, like, if you guys could share some of the lessons that you've learned by doing this programming, what, like, the great things, the challenges, like, what has this taught you in this exercise of convening digital community?
You cannot do anything if you forget your purpose. Especially with the daily programming, there honestly was moments where we just got so stuck in the granular details that we forgot the bigger picture. And it was definitely stressful. It's a lot of people every single day and stuff like that. And the greatest things about working with this women and Jordan and Alan is we're able to be honest and communicate. We're like, hey, what are we doing this for? Like, how do we check ourselves? Like, how do we iterate? So that's been my biggest learning lesson, is like never forgetting why you do certain things.
That's great.
Yeah. Tacking on to that. Yeah. Honestly, like it is a lot. And being on the event side of things for so long, for me, at least, like once you produce something and you're kind of in this momentum and you're like exhausted, the show must go on is always the thing. And then over time, you kind of just like turn to this robot and like just keep turning the gears, but not really thinking what that is for. So yeah, like Jay said, like every so often we have to check ourselves like, okay, cool. Like, are we doing this because we're just rushing, or are we doing this because there's a purpose to it? So every so often we have to do that. The other part is social depletion is still very real, even though it's virtual. If
100.
if anything, I feel like because it's a daily programming, I get very socially depleted. But this team is so beautiful. I can just be like, hey guys, I'm still going to tune in, but probably not going to handle ops today because I'm just a little like burnt out. So I might be cooking and like tuning in and doing my own thing because I just need to recoup, or else I'm going to turn back into that robot and just keep turning gears for no purpose.
Yes, I totally agree, Jen. So Jen is like our master ops because she's had such extensive experience juggling so many live performers already in her day job. She's really great at that. And Jay is like the master, like she's like the overseer. She just kind of knows like, okay, who to put here, or how are you feeling today? She's always doing temperature checks on us. So yeah, I just wanted to reiterate what Jay and Jen said. There's this level of like, I guess my sense of community has definitely heightened and sharpened. Um, Before this, or I mean, during this whole COVID-19 shelter in place, like people were starting to get really depressed because of this whole like, are we essential? What does this mean about my work and what makes me me is like, as a creative, does this mean that I don't matter in the world? And I think Inside Lands has really shown not just us and not just our creative friends, but to the public that everyone is essential. You know, you don't have to be on the front lines, but because you have the capacity to create, to bring joy to people, to share your art, that makes you essential. And because you have the capacity to care and like love for each other, that makes you essential. So I think that's what Inside Lands has shown me, that you don't have to be like a frontliner, or you don't have to be like just like a nurse or person in the grocery store, restaurant worker. Everyone here matters, and everyone has something to share.
Wow, that's so beautiful. Thank you for saying
Mhm.
that. And especially coming from a nurse, like I feel like, am I essential? Like, is
I
that for
love
real?
that.
So
I
I
Yeah.
really
love
appreciate
Hashtag
that.
everyone is essential.
Hashtag
That's the
everyone
new
is essential. That's
hashtag.
gorgeous. Yeah.
yes.
And just like to,
Um,
yeah, to uplift and resonate with everything that y'all said. Like, I think social depletion being real, despite the digital nature of it, is hella real. The idea of connecting with purpose and making sure that what you do is connected to that. I mean, I definitely feel that too with the Hollis Does Brunch thing. It's like we create these things for ourselves that can sometimes quickly turn into feeling like obligations or stress. And then you kind of go through that mental thing where you're just like, how did I create a monster that's like stalking me from behind now? But if you're able to like turn around head on and be like, no, the reason why I'm doing this is to connect. And the reason why we're, all here, like I didn't know you ladies before COVID, and the fact that we're able to connect virtually is to me a solace and such a beautiful consolation to all of this. As much as it would be great to be able to be like kicking it in Oakland on a patio at a day party together, we take what we can, and ultimately we have to connect to purpose. So that's really beautiful. So I'm curious because y'all are in the Bay Area, living in both Oakland and San Francisco. So I'm curious if you can kind of talk a little bit more about how things are on the ground there, specifically how you guys are each connected to both community and also to public health. And kind of like how you're feeling about, despite the uncertainty, kind of like the new systems and connections and networks that are forming.
In San Francisco, first of all, I think San Francisco and the Bay Area responded really quickly and appropriately. So I'm really glad about that. Um, Obviously, there are huge changes to our restaurant industry. A lot of our friends are in the restaurant industry. They host pop-ups. They are business owners. They're chefs. And I think when it comes to the idea of food or being able to like socialize and eat because of this whole social distancing thing, there's been a lot of challenges and changes. And I know they're going to start implementing less restrictions. So we're all really excited about that because we definitely want to make sure that our friends in the restaurant and food industry stay afloat. Um, I guess that could be seen as like a negative, but I kind of see it as a positive because we're also seeing that a lot of our friends and um, restaurant owners and business owners are starting to get really creative when it comes to like sharing their food, sharing their meals. Um, they're doing a lot more deliveries, or what else? Meal packs. We even tried some meal kits on Inside Lands at one point. Did you guys see what happened at Dolores Park? How they implemented the circles? I mean, that's
Yes.
happening
saw that.
too.
I saw that. And it's kind of crazy because I had my friend text me yesterday, like, hey, is this real right now? Because she texted me the upper and bottom, and there it's like a normal day, no fuck quarantine, sorry, whatever,
Yeah,
but like they're just out. And I'm like, where are the circles?
I know.
yeah, yeah.
I'm
So
such like a child
changes.
where I was like, this is so cute. Yeah.
It's cute the way they try
Yeah.
to make circles, and yeah, it's great. That means that they're really trying to keep us safe.
Yeah. To tag on to what Kat said, and maybe I'm just a little optimistic about everything, but for the creative community in OpenSF, because of everything that happened and the time we're given, I feel like we are able to create without the constraints of like just making money in society. Like I feel like creatives are getting more creative in the sense that like they're letting themselves try different things, even failing, because in a hyper city like Oakland or San Francisco, you don't have room to fail. You can't just try a new DJ set. You can't just like, let's throw this kind of thing. And I think it's so inspiring to see like Twitch streamers switch it up, like people trying out a new system of getting their art across. Like I'm really excited to see that. So yeah, I mean, I've been super pressured to feel like I need to cater to so many people, but now I'm just like, well, how do I feel? So, yeah.
Yeah, same with along the same feelings with Kat and Jay. I think it's just such an interesting time to be in. For me, I feel like during this time is again to figure out where your passion lies, what you want to do in life. Right now, I'm trying to figure out where I fit in this world. Do I want to be in this virtual event coordination? What does that entail? Do I want to stare at the screen for 8 to 10 hours? So it's just a matter of shifting and figuring out what you want to do. And it's kind of somewhat in a blank canvas state where you can kind of recreate where you fit in this world, because this world is evolving and it's new. So
I definitely feel that. I think a lot of us, like, what we're driven to
For
do
sure.
oftentimes is like to connect with each other as much as possible. And I think if anybody asked any of us at January 2020, like, are you going to go into live streaming event production? I don't think any of us would be like, oh, yeah, absolutely. This is going to be a primary feature of what I do in the world. And I think those kind of like critical questions about what we want our lives to look like. Like, do we want to be looking at screens 24/7? Is that the way that we want to build community? And what can we do that is more tactile and is more real, but that is safe? All of these questions. So thank you for sharing. I'm curious. Oh yeah, I forgot. Sorry, I completely forgot to show you my breakfast, which is really not that impressive, but really
We
quick.
want to see.
I mean, it's nothing crazy. But the star of the show are these like breakfast potatoes that I made. I always forget. Where I did, it's like they're paprika. I think paprika does a lot to give it a really nice color and crunchiness.
Yum.
So I put these breakfast taters in 400 for a half an hour. And
Ooh, so it's
then I
crispy.
literally am just a weirdo and I really like eating just like raw spinach. For some reason, I've acclimated myself to it. And then I did a little fried egg. So that's what I got for you. But I'm all about a breakfast potato, just, home fries. I miss going to brunch and spending way too much money and then feeling sad about it. But,
I love it.
home fries are always like a thing. So at home fries. That's what I got.
Did you guys all do that thing where we leaned over and tried to look into her bowl?
I do that so much. I'm
like, what is
sure. I'm pretty sure you've seen me on Inside Lens so many times. I'm all like, wait a minute, you're not behind the screen. I don't know what I'm looking over for.
I love it. So y'all, we have a question in the chat which actually aligns a lot with the next question I was going to ask. So, who is it? Jenny? I don't know.
Jenny.
Hi, Jenny. Asks, as quarantine gets more lifted, do you think that this online platform, Inside Lands, will start to fade away, or is this a newly incorporated way of networking and promoting and a new creative avenue? And my question was like, what advice do you have for communities that want to better organize online? And I kind of see those things too tying in, because it's like, how long will this sustain for, and how much are y'all investing as organizers in this model versus thinking about how to adapt and like kind of hold this community as we open back up?
I've been go ahead.
Go ahead, Jay.
No, you go.
Okay. Just speaking from kind of outside of Inside Land with my team on from 7th West, along with a few other event companies or organizations, I think it is here to stay. I think we're able to incorporate, I think it's twofold. So I think there's things that are temporary where like obviously these tech conferences and virtual conferences is a need because we can't be together. But I think this is going to open up a whole new realm where we can have things simultaneously, where we can have a tech conference and then see it virtually, or be at a party and still stream it. And it just kind of provokes a new conversation with everyone. Like, how do we get creative in this virtual world? And I think those things are here to stay and very beneficial to people. And it's a new form of marketing and promoting. But I love seeing all the creative people. I'm on YouTube surfing every so often, and like everyone's doing animation music videos, which is super, super dope. All the musicians are stuck at home and like making really, really awesome music. So I definitely think it's here to stay for the most part. There will be some that fades away, but it's just a matter of how creative you can do with this.
Yeah, I agree. I have been meditating on it a lot, but like at its core, Inside Lands is a community. So whatever platform we use to connect, it's pretty irrelevant. And the coolest thing about me saying that is because we have creatives on the team that are constantly trying to find other ways to like communicate with each other. So I'm not too worried about like the next step of Inside Lands because I know we have a really dope core foundation. And I'm also not worried about this platform going away because like, it's not like when phones came out, people like when text messaging came out, people, how do I say this? We will always find a way to connect with people. So if it's us going out and I don't know, throwing a circus one day, I don't know. The community still stays. So yeah, I think you get what I'm trying to say.
I get you. I guess to tap onto what Jay and Jen were saying is, I think overall, in speaking generally, whatever happens to Inside Lands, I think this platform of online video and streaming and interaction is here to stay for all creatives. The creatives out there, DJs, musicians, artists who found their way to staying online virtually, this is just a brand new option for them from here on out. Of course, people would prefer being out live, hearing the music live, going out, listening to their favorite DJ play at their favorite club. But they know that this virtual world exists and that it's just another channel for them to reach more people globally, even. So yeah, I know what Jay said was really great, how Inside Lands is not about just like that Zoom room ID 873-915-918. It's more than that. It's more.
Shout it out, girl.
Yeah,
you remembered it.
Oh my God. Shameless plug. Here's the room key: 873-915-918.
There we go, girl.
Impressive.
So it's more than that. It's our friends. So wherever our friends are, that's where Inside Lands really is.
That part.
Yeah, that part.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So we're going to bring Alan on in just a few seconds, but please, if you're tuning in, drop any questions for J Tran, Jen, and Kat in the chat. You know where it's at. Okay. And I guess my last question is coming from the Bay Area. Who are the Bay Area artists that we should be tuning into right now? Who are y'all really fucking with, and who should we?
Oh man. That's a tough question. That's such a tough question.
So many that we just found.
Well, because there's so many different. When people ask me those things, it's like, what genre? What kind of?
Yeah.
What platform? Like, what do they do? Like, we literally aerial artists on cooks.
Oh my gosh.
I don't even know. I mean, like, if you have the bandwidth and everything, just check everyone out. Bay Area. I mean, I might be partially, biased, but like Alan, you need to check Alan out. He's just so freaking talented. We asked him to be on, which you guys will see soon, and some of you guys have seen, where he always just kind of pushes to the next level. Like he's not gonna do an old song. He's gonna do new songs, even though I asked him 2 days ago to be on something. And so it's just like just stay tuned and try to like support everyone that you can. I know it's tough to stare at a screen for 8 hours straight or whatever, but whenever you can, just go party hopping on Twitch or like check out Inside Lands. And there's a lot of Bay Area artists. So whoever kind of you connect with, please do follow them and try to support them any way you can.
And this is a quick shout out, but I've been meditating on this too, but I really hope we start supporting the children a lot more. This will be a very long economic road to recovery. And some of the first to go every single time are arts and music programs. And not to be a downer, but this is going to be earth shattering, traumatic for them to like reconcile with all this and stuff like that. So I really hope you guys either donate or support their endeavors, whether there's internships and stuff like that. We recently, our ISL prom, were able to raise money to 4 different charities, one of them being Elevate Oakland, which provides everything from musical instruments to kids to literally being able to just have these classes. Alan's also a teacher. And then quick shout out to Jordan E, which is our creative designer here. He basically made us legit and it's really cool. So yeah, support those people.
Oh man, I feel like I've met so many new artists because of Jay and Jen. I mean, I'm the newbie coming into San Francisco, so I didn't really know too many, and Inside Land it was like floodgates for me. I thought the most interesting person I met on Inside Lands was, I'm gonna mess this up again, but Eknomus. DJ
Economist.
But he's like our plant daddy / like he was really eye-catching because his set is like surrounded by his garden of plants, of like indoor plants, and that's where he like DJs from. And I remember like he played on for us and I asked him like, funny question, do you believe that your music is like helping your plants grow so robustly? But we got into that weird conversation, but he was really interesting. Yeah, like the live performers, the dancers on here, and even like the professional cooks. Yeah, like just being able to see their BTS behind the scenes or how their kitchens look like has been really, really cool. So again, I can't really pinpoint who. It's a lot of artists on Inside Lands.
But Kat, also remember what Romer did after too when he did his takeover. Yeah. He was doing a fire dance, almost naked. He was only in boxers, blindfolded, in front of his house in Daly City doing fire dance. We were just like, what is happening right now?
We love a go-getter. That's what we just love a go-getter.
That's why it's hard to pinpoint.
Well, one thing, support your artists, buy their music. If shows open up, go to their shows. If you realize anything from this pandemic, you have found comfort in your creative. So none of that BS where you're like, I'll show up to your event. No, show the up.
Yes. I love it. Well, without further ado, let's support an artist of y'all's community that I'm really excited to have on the stream. I think live instrumentation like strikes a deep chord in my heart now more than ever. So I'm hype to be bringing on our next guest. Let's see if we can have a full party. What's up, Alan? How's it going?
Hey, Hollis. Yo, hey guys.
Thanks for wings during our conversation and these incredible women and organizers sharing their insights and their knowledge. So many gems dropped, ladies.
Yeah,
so thankful.
Absolutely. To say that all the women present are amazing is truly an understatement, honestly. I just also want to say, like, thank you for sharing your extremely clean and beautiful voice with us this morning.
Oh, thank you. That's so kind.
That was
all right, we'll bring you back for a grand finale, but I'm going to solo Alan right now. So Alan, I'm wondering if you could just tell us a little bit about yourself, how you're doing, and how COVID has been impacting your artistry.
Holy moly, that is a big question, huh? Let's see. I guess let's get me out of the way first. I was a very stereotypical like Asian Chinese kid growing up playing the violin at the age of 7, which is what they told me was late to start. I went to school for music at the conservatory in San Francisco and at SGSU. And I don't know, it's just been like a crazy ride music-wise. The COVID, actually, holy, it has been kind of a blessing and a curse at the same time. My deepest respects for those affected by the virus. But I mean, like, I don't have to drive to lessons anymore. And I've gotten a lot more time, like a lot of other artists have during this time, to like create, to contemplate, to sort of have a little bit more mental bandwidth, at the same time get crushed by all the creative things that you want to do in your life. You know what I mean? And all that guilt saying like, oh, you have all this time now, so you better do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. And I hear that too. I think folks that I know that are amazing instrumentalists who make a living as teachers are kind of amazed by how this has opened up their time. Like so much is caught up in travel and just like interfacing. And I do think this could be a new model and hopefully be the most effective way that working musicians can teach and also kind of build their own thing. And I think to your point, it's hard sometimes to say like, things I've learned a lot, or like this has been a positive time for me because it feels kind of disrespectful to the, I mean, at this point, 100,000 people who have died in the United States or people who have been impacted. And I also feel that like during this time, anything good is good, you know, as long as we're being good to each other. And I
Yeah.
think, you know, Inside Lands is demonstrating how to be good with one another, how to support each other.
Mhm.
And it's important to embrace that and hold that. And, you know that that's like the bright light in all of the darkness that's here. So without further ado, Alan, it would be so fantastic to hear some live performance from you if you wouldn't mind blessing us with it.
I would love to. I just happen to have my violin here and a guitar on the side. How funny of you to ask me at this time. Actually, I do want to shout out, like I was backstage listening to you guys talk about, you know, who's up and coming and stuff. I just want to shout out a few homies like like the homies from Smacks Pop-Up / Grams Clothing. They and Good Company in SAC. They just know what the fuck they're doing. Like really look and listen, because what they have to say and what they have to share is like it's substantial. Also recently, Ian Santiolano, dope guitarist / everything. He plays everything. DJ Climax was dope. DJ XM was on last night. She's this 11-year-old DJ that basically murdered the entire lineup. All by like everyone who went before her. I almost forgot. Obviously, I didn't forget them, but almost. She's dope. Yeah, Sofia Flores. There's just so many. But here, let me move my mic down. Just like Jen was saying, I always kind of have to like compose something new for something new. So let me bring this down here. Why don't I just play some music for you and shut up? All right, that's good. Number one.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
I always get so emotional.
That's
Like,
I am
I
so
was like,
glad.
ooh.
That was incredible, Alan.
Thank you.
That was
Like,
dope.
I hope
You're
y'all
so
love
lucky
the
you're on the
free
team.
gems today.
Do you have one more piece for us?
Yeah, I've got one more for you
Okay,
guys.
amazing. Let's get it.
So that one is called Cells, and you can take whatever meaning you want from that. I actually never play the same thing twice on all my songs, so that was all just like random out of my brain this morning. That's what you get. Let's see. I didn't really sound check this. Can you hear that? You don't hear my guitar?
Maybe I should put this one away and then just kill
We
this.
hear you.
Okay, cool. All right, so this is a song by Moses Sumney. I'm just gonna do a cover, and I really wanted to do this song. Like, I learned it real quick yesterday, so forgive me. I'm also a violinist and not a guitarist. I learned this song for my girl, which is Jenn Lui. She's the one in the hot-looking neon dress there.
Ooh, girl.
Let's see. I know she really loves this song, so I just wanted to learn it for her.
Aww.
We love love.
Yeah, it's hard not to. Oh, let me move my mic. There we go. Oh, hey. That's more attractive. All right. Some people are going somewhere far away. Okay, let's do it. Ooh. I know what it is to be broken and to be bold. I tell you that my silver's gold, though I'm much too old for make believe. Yeah, I know what it's like to be whole, not to be held. Funny how a stomach unfed seems satisfied because it's swell and swollen. You got me shooting across the sky like a star. Nobody told me just to never let it get too far. See my silhouette, so you're standing scared of me. Ooh. Can I tell you a secret? My wings are made of plastic. 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 Oh, my wings are made of plastic. My wings are made of plastic. Oh, my wings are made of plastic. My wings are made of plastic, plastic. My wings are made of 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 So, oh my. Thank you guys.
One's in the chat, y'all. One's in the chat.
One's in the chat. Thank you so much, Alan, for
awesome.
sharing your musical gifts with us. The fact that you're like somebody who's like, I'm never going to do the same thing twice is very inspirational to me, especially in this digital time where you could just be like, oh, I'm just going to coast. So kudos to you for staying creative and challenging yourself when it'd be easier to make excuses not to.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Hell yeah, dude. In conclusion, I'm so thankful to the four of you guys. Oh, we lose Jen.
Hold on, I can't hear.
Oh, is Jen gonna come through? I'm just so thankful to the four of y'all for joining us today for brunch, and for sharing your musical talents. Alan, for sharing your organizational insights. Tran and Jen and Kat and all y'all from the Inside Lands community who came through to join us today for brunch. Hella appreciate your energy. Hella appreciate the vibes. Oh, there's Jen. Where did you go? Hi.
She's back.
Does anybody have any last?
I missed you while you were gone.
Sorry,
have
internet
any-
connections.
Any last words, plugs, sentiments that you'd like to share before we sign off?
There's a little bit of an echo over there.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think continue to remember why you create. We are given this time that I think we've all wanted in some deeper form. Like I think we've always have said when we show up to see our friends, I'm exhausted or like I'm overworked and stuff like that. We have this time to like really make the most of it and get really intentional. And if you're well intentioned, I think that's when magic happens. So I'm really excited. And obviously come support Inside Lands. We, right after this, I think Jen and Kat can talk a little bit more about it, but we also have a daily programming going on in 30 minutes actually. And Hollis will be a part of it.
Yeah, I can't wait.
So we still didn't complete our pizza yet, but I have a photo of what's to come.
Ooh.
Yeah, we definitely did not plan that properly. We never made pizza and we're like, we can do it in 30 minutes. Very wrong.
That's that energy though. Keep that energy up.
Experimentation, it's a safe place to fail.
Yeah.
Kat, any last words from the Yacht Club?
So any last words? I was thinking, just to tell all our viewers, first of all, thank you for having us again. And yeah, Inside Lands is like a daily thing. So thank you to our viewers and our Inside Lands family for joining us every day. The thing that pops in my head is for all the people who are really taking this time with difficulty. I just want to say that this too shall pass. Look ahead. Stay positive. Everything that's happening now is only temporary. And, just make the most out of it. Yeah.
I love that.
I love this crew. I love starting Sundays with y'all.
Yeah, this is dope. I'm so thankful for y'all just for holding community and being an inspiration to me as somebody who, looks to y'all for insight and guidance in terms of the ways in which you guys can just keep iterating, keep experimenting, keep gathering and doing it joyfully. So thank you for holding space. Thank you, Alan, for sharing your gifts. Thanks everybody who tuned in, and we'll catch you next Sunday for brunch, and we'll catch you at Sunday service in just a half an hour. Go to Instagram.com/InsideLands2020 to find that Zoom link, and we'll see you there.
Thank you.
Thanks, Hollis. That was such a fun brunch.
I know. Love it. Bye.